28 million people in this country hold a driving licence, and yet the acquisition of that document strikes fear and terror into the hearts of everyone who goes to take the driving test. 2 million people a year take that test. 1 million of them fail it. Now, with this video, we can't teach you to drive, but we can make your driving practice much more effective, and we can help to make the driving test itself far less daunting. We found 2 young people who are learning to drive. Marcus Burley is in the maroon manual car and Lisa Ford in the white automatic car. Now, we'll be following their progress as they prepare for their appointment at the driving test centre. They'll be learning all about their cars and the driving techniques they need to master. We'll also be taking you through a full driving test, but with a difference, because this time we can talk back to the examiner, ask him exactly what he means and what he's looking for from you, the candidate. We can show you how to operate a car, and we can take you step by step through the driving test. But there's one thing only you can do, and that's to learn this book. I can't emphasise strongly enough how important it is to read and absorb every page of the Highway Code, because, in theory, the examiner could ask you anything about it.
What do these signs mean? Some of them are not obvious and can be confused with similar-looking signs. We are not going to tell you the answers. You must learn them for yourself. Road markings too, you might be asked about. What do these mean? Don't forget the traffic light sequence. You should know exactly what is meant by every change of the lights. And other questions about driving will have their answers in the Highway Code.
Before anyone reaches for the ignition key, let's go through the legal paperwork you must have before you venture out on the public road. First, you must have a provisional licence. You must be insured to drive the car you're going to learn on, and don't take anyone's word for it. Make sure you've seen the document. And the car itself must be roadworthy and have an MOT certificate if necessary. It must be taxed and be fitted with proper L plates, clearly visible front and rear. And remember, if you are driving, you'll be held responsible for any breaches in the law. And of course, while you drive on the road with a provisional licence, you must be accompanied by a qualified, full licence holder.
Some basic knowledge of how the car works will help the learner through those nervous first minutes behind the wheel.
In the engine, there are usually 4 or 6 cylinders. In each one, a piston moves up and down. On the downstroke, the piston sucks in a mixture of petrol and air. As the piston rises, this mixture is compressed, and at the top of the stroke, an electrical spark ignites the mixture. The combustion forces the piston down, giving the engine its motive power. And then, as it rises again, the burnt exhaust gases are expelled. And that's the 4-stroke engine. The pistons are each set at different parts of the cycle to give smoothness, and each connects to the crankshaft, which transmits the power towards the wheels. The engine needs oil for lubrication. The oil reservoir, or sump, is located underneath, and above the cylinders are valves. They open and close at precise times to allow the gases in and out of the engine. They're operated by rocker arms, which in turn are moved by push rods, and the whole mechanism is out of sight under the cam or rocker cover. The mixing of air and fuel and its delivery to the cylinders is performed by the carburettor. It varies the ratio of petrol to air, more petrol when the engine is cold, and the amount of mixture according to the engine's needs. Both the accelerator pedal and the choke connect directly to the carburettor. The ignition system provides the spark to each cylinder at precisely the right moment. It consists of a distributor, a coil, which converts low voltage to high voltage, high-tension leads, and a spark plug for each cylinder. The standard ignition system has a mechanical contact breaker housed in the distributor. The disadvantage is that these wear down and have to be replaced. A modern development is electronic ignition, using an electromagnetic sensor to trigger the coil. Power is transmitted from the engine via the clutch and gearbox. The clutch allows you to start the car, stop it, and change gear by disengaging the power of the engine from the wheels. Otherwise, when you stop the car by braking, the engine would stall. With the clutch pedal down, the engine spins freely. Releasing the clutch pedal forces the clutch plate against the flywheel and power is transmitted back to the gearbox. Next in line is the gearbox itself. It gives the car flexibility. A low gear delivers a lot of power, but at low speed, for instance when starting off or on a hill. A high gear allows a smooth, fast ride with the engine turning over comfortably. The differential turns the power through 90 degrees in order to drive the wheels. It gears down the speed of the engine rotation, and it also allows the wheels to revolve at different speeds when the car's on a bend. Of course, a front-wheel drive car, which might well have a transverse engine, has the clutch, gearbox and differential all up at the front end. The car is turned by the steering wheel. It's connected to a rack and pinion. A small gear at the end of the steering column engages in a rack which moves the wheels via steering arms. Modern cars have hydraulic brakes. When you press the brake pedal, pressure is transmitted equally via the hydraulic system to each set of brakes. There might be a mixture of drum and disc brakes. At the back, it's likely to be drums. Brake shoes are forced out against the rotating drum. At the front, which takes the brunt of the braking load, it's more likely to be disc brakes. They're more efficient and dissipate heat more effectively. 2 brake pads squeeze the rotating disc.
Get to know the controls of your car and what they do. Let's start with the pedals. On a manual car, it's as simple as A, B, C. A on the right is the accelerator. This controls the engine speed and so the speed of the car. As you press, the speed increases. With your foot off, the engine ticks over or idles. B is for the brake. This is the centre pedal and is also controlled by the right foot. Push it gently to slow down, push it harder to stop. On the left is the clutch pedal, C, controlled by the left foot. The clutch is used when changing gear and stopping the car. Pushing it down disconnects the engine power from the wheels. Letting it up feeds the power back through. Without a clutch, the engine would always cut out when the car stopped. Gear changing is every learner's bugbear. In fact, it's quite straightforward. This position is neutral when you can waggle the stick around. The gear lever controls the 4 or 5 forward gears and the reverse gear for going backwards. The gears are usually based around an H pattern. First, second, third, fourth. Fifth, if fitted, and reverse are out on dog legs to the side. This is the handbrake. When pulled up, it holds the car stationary. The button is pushed and the brake is released as you move off. The steering wheel is pretty self-evident, and around it controls for lights, indicators, and wipers. Positions of these switches and controls vary from car to car. Make sure you know before you drive off where everything is. Most cars have at least 3 instruments: a speedometer to tell you how fast you're going and how many miles you've covered, a fuel gauge to tell you how much petrol is in the tank, and the engine's temperature gauge. Other cars may have more instruments or warning lights. Some have a rev counter to show how fast the engine is spinning round, oil temperature and pressure gauges or ammeter. Get to know their importance and function. One other control that's important is the choke. This is used for cold starts. On some cars, they're automatic. If they're manual, pull it out until the engine is warm, then push it home. So that's the manual car.
Lisa's car is slightly different. It's an automatic and has only 2 pedals. The accelerator to control the car's speed and the brake pedal to bring it to a stop. Both pedals are operated by the right foot. Make sure you tuck the left foot well out of the pedal's way. Ideally, your first driving experience should take place off the road, perhaps on a deserted car park or a council-owned driving centre like this. But for many people that's just not practicable. So for your first drive, try and ensure you're in a really quiet location where there's nothing to distract you from getting to know your car and its controls. And then of course your companion can concentrate on you. Make sure you're comfortable. You can slide the seat back and forth. Position it so you can push the clutch pedal all the way down without stretching your leg. Then, if your car has it, adjust the backrest so your arms are slightly bent and comfortable when you hold the wheel at the 10-to-2 position. It's a good idea to fit an extra mirror for your companion. Now you're in the right position, adjust your mirror like this so as not to smudge the glass. And then you can see clearly behind you without tilting your head. Adjust so you can see your left ear in the corner. And the external mirrors should have the edge of the car in the corner. Are you sitting comfortably? Well, relax. Don't tense up. Don't grip the wheel. And don't feel at all strained. Learning to drive is a serious business, but there's no reason why it can't be fun.
Before you start the engine, do your safety checks. First, make sure all the doors are closed. Handbrake securely on. Gear lever in neutral. Seat belts fastened. You're seated in the right position. Mirrors adjusted. And there's nothing in front or behind you.
Put the key in the ignition and turn to the first position. The warning lights come on and you can check you've got enough petrol. Turn the key and the engine will turn over. Release the starter as it fires. If you keep turning, the engine could be damaged. Spend some time playing with the accelerator. Get to know the sound and feel of the throttle as you press it down. Press the clutch right down and guide, don't force, the lever into first. Accelerate the engine, pressing on the button to release the handbrake, but hold it on. Look over your shoulder, check your mirrors, ease up the clutch gently. Last glance, handbrake off as you release the clutch. Bang, you've stalled. Don't worry, we'll try that again. But first, a golden rule. Always the handbrake on and the gear lever in neutral when stationary. Start the engine again, this time a little more accelerator. Ease up the clutch, you'll feel the engine note change and the car start to strain forward. Release the handbrake, ease the clutch all the way up and press the accelerator a bit more, and we're off. Concentrate on keeping that accelerator steady. Don't lurch backwards and forwards. Just keep driving until you're making smooth progress. Then press the brake, then the clutch, and bring the car to a gentle stop. Handbrake on into neutral. Let's try that again. This first maneuver can't be practiced too often. Do it again and again and again. Get used to that crucial balance between clutch and accelerator. And if at any time you feel things are getting out of control or the car is running away with you, don't hesitate. Brake, then clutch, and bring it to a halt.
Starting off is far simpler in the automatic car for Lisa. But first, our safety checks. The doors are closed, the handbrake's on, seat belts on, gear in park or neutral, seat in position, mirrors adjusted, and all clear outside. Start up and feel the action of the accelerator. Get to know the sound of the engine as the revs increase. Remove your foot from the accelerator pedal and select Drive. Release the handbrake and at the same time press gently on the accelerator and the car moves off. Concentrate on smooth progress. Control the speed of the car with the accelerator and let the automatic gearbox do the rest. Come smoothly to a halt and don't forget, right foot only. And the golden rule, always, handbrake on and gear lever in neutral or park when stationary. Keep practicing until the start-off sequence is second nature. And don't forget to look around for a clear road before starting off.
Of course, it's much simpler to drive an automatic. The only catch is if you take your test on an automatic car, you then can't drive a manual car on the road. Your full licence only applies to automatics. Of course, if you only intend to drive automatic cars in the future, that won't worry you. While off the public road, if you possibly can, put down markers and try some manoeuvring practice to improve your steering and judgment of the car's handling. When you're steering, you move the wheel through your hands with a pull and push movement. When you straighten up, feed the wheel back. Don't let it spin through your hands, so you retain full control at all times. Move those markers and get to know the width of your car. Practice positioning the car accurately. Reversing can give learner drivers problems. Drivers are disorientated by the changed feel of the car. The effect of steering is very different. Turn around in your seat, find a comfortable position that gives maximum view of the road through the rear window. But remember also to look to the front and the sides. Do lots of straight line practice before attempting manoeuvres. Steering needs lots of practice. Grip the wheel at the 12 o'clock position with your right hand and your left hand low on the wheel. Turn the wheel gently and easily. If you drive slowly, you can feel that the car's moving in the direction you want it to. Reversing is difficult. You can't practice this too often. And never turn the wheel with the palm of your hand or cross your arms. Practice of all these manoeuvres will prove invaluable later when driving or parking in a busy high street.
Marcus has got to learn to change gear and select the best gear for the speed and road situations he's going to encounter. So with the car rolling at about 15 miles per hour, let's run through the sequence for changing gear from first to second in slow motion. Press the clutch down, accelerator up, palm the gear lever back from first to second, a smooth movement, your hand facing away from you, clutch up smoothly and accelerator down. At normal speed, it looks like this. Clutch down, accelerator up, first to second, clutch up, accelerator down. Synchronizing the pedals with the gear lever is difficult, so practice getting a smooth transition of power. You've got more time than you think. The change from third to fourth is basically the same. Let's watch that in slow motion. The push-down action of the clutch must meet the up action of the accelerator or the engine will race. Palm the gear back, your hand facing towards you. The pedals must synchronise. Some engine power is needed as the clutch is released. Most cars won't run smoothly under about 25 miles per hour in top gear, so as you reduce speed, you need to change down from fourth to third. Don't let the engine speed die away completely as you lift your accelerator foot. Depress the clutch, guide the lever through to the next gear down. Let the clutch up smoothly. The change down to second needs a careful palming action. Guide the lever through the dogleg. Don't force it. Matching road speed with engine speed and the correct gear comes only with lots of practice. The sound of the engine is your guide to changing gear. If you hear the engine racing, you need to change to a higher gear. If the engine is juddering, you need to change to a lower gear.
Once you're sure you've mastered the basics of car control, you can venture out onto the roads. But remember, you can't go on motorways until you've passed your test, and your L plates give you no special privileges. You must know and observe the rules of the road, and remember your highway code. For your first 3 or 4 hours on the road, you really should be under the supervision of a qualified instructor. And it's also worthwhile having at least 3 or 4 lessons in the period leading up to the test itself. For the test, you can use the instructor's car. You'll be assured it won't break down, and you'll be familiar with the controls. Remember, it's against the law for anyone to take money for giving driving lessons unless they're a Department of Transport approved driving instructor and they've got a certificate to prove it. Once qualified, a Department of Transport instructor can apply to take the RAC instructor's exam. Such approval is your guarantee of quality, and you'd be well advised to take advantage of it. Ask around for recommendations on instructors who achieve a good first-time pass rate.
The golden rule of good driving is mirror, signal, manoeuvre. It's basic to every situation on the road. Let's explain that system. Use your mirror well before signalling or making changes in your speed or direction. Be aware of what's going on around and especially behind you, and how your actions will affect other drivers. Before you start any manoeuvre, you must clearly signal your intentions. The highway code illustrates all the signals. You must give them clearly and in plenty of time. When making manoeuvres, that is, any changes in position or speed, continually look around you for the effect your actions will have on other road users. Make your early practice drives over simple routes to build experience and confidence. Read the road ahead. Learn to anticipate other people's moves.
Driving in urban conditions is all about anticipation and awareness. Practice making a commentary to yourself as you drive along so you can see situations and decide what you're going to do. Now look at this. The child is wobbling on his bike. There's somebody indicating. Obviously, don't thrust through the gap, because if you do, you could find yourself in trouble. More space and time to overtake the child, and through we go. Following a car up to a built-up area here, staying well enough back from the car in front so that if he does have to brake suddenly, we've got plenty of room, and also looking past him to see the sort of things he's going to be confronted with so we know what we're going to do. Is this man suddenly going to cross the road? Is the boy going to cross the road? Yes, he is. Always be aware that kids especially are going to do the unexpected. They tend to react very suddenly, jump off curbs and run without looking. And whenever you see them on the road, and especially where there's parked cars outside shops, you should always be covering the brake. We're coming up to a blind corner now. It says slow on the road, so already you're planning ahead. What do you do if round this corner the road's blocked? Always have in your mind an escape route so you know exactly where you're going to go if you need to take avoiding action. Side roads coming in all the way along here and drives, you're looking for front bumpers emerging from drives, or you're looking for wheels turning, which would indicate that somebody is going to take a chance and pull out. Coming up through a crowded village street, a row of parked cars here. Now, several things to watch out for. Is anybody going to dart out between the cars? Is there suddenly going to be a door flung open? If there is a door flung open, can you stop in time? And are you going to get in the way of people coming towards you? Thank you. And again, a little bit of courtesy and a smile always helps traffic to make its way around urban conditions.
Take this junction. There is a turning 100 yards ahead. This is a dangerous manoeuvre. There is traffic in both directions, and you are a potential obstruction. So positioning, speed, and looking are all vitally important. Let's see the sequence again to see how Lisa performs a right turn. Don't forget, mirror, signal, manoeuvre. Looking about carefully, move over to the crown of the road to allow any traffic following through on your near side. Come slowly to a stop opposite the centre of the side road. Handbrake on, gear lever into neutral, look out for any pedestrians. Wait for a gap in the traffic, into gear, handbrake off, and make the turn in a gentle arc. Don't cut the corner. Let's look again, particularly at Lisa's change of position from the left side to the centre line. It is a clearly defined move made after good observation. There is plenty of traffic. She must ensure her exit from the junction is clear, otherwise she could be caught in the path of oncoming traffic.
Approaching a roundabout, apply the mirror signal manoeuvre routine. Always lots of observation. Give way to traffic from your right. Never force a driver to change direction or speed. If you're turning left, approach in the left-hand lane, signalling left. Stay in the left-hand lane throughout. If you're going straight on, approach in the left-hand lane, but don't indicate until you reach the middle of the exit before the one you want to leave by. Stay in the left-hand lane and take your exit. If the left-hand lane is blocked by traffic turning left at the first exit, you may use the right lane, but take care that no one's on your inside when you want to turn to your exit. If you want to turn right, approach in the right-hand lane, indicating right. Stick to the right-hand lane and then signal left as you cross the mouth of the exit before the one you wish to leave by. However, remember that roundabouts are places where traffic streams mix, and make sure everyone knows and understands your intentions, and be prepared for other drivers to cross your path. Always be on the lookout for their signals. Don't forget, long vehicles may have to take a different course to avoid cutting in. And remember, cyclists and motorcyclists need special consideration too. From both these examples, you can see how application of the mirror, signal, and manoeuvre routine can be applied to almost every situation you're likely to meet on the road. Of course, your instructor will be giving you the finer points as you head up towards that great day of your driving test. But until then, let's run through some of the key manoeuvres you should be practicing constantly.
On hills, practice use of accelerator, clutch and handbrake in moving smoothly and confidently away from rest. There mustn't be the slightest hint of rolling backwards. Reversing around a corner, practice reversing along and around curbs, keeping the car at the same distance from the curb throughout the turn. Don't forget, always lots of observation during the manoeuvre. Turning between curbs in a quiet road. Remember, it's basically 3 hill starts in forward and reverse gears, together with lots of wheel shuffling in big bites. Remember to get the opposite lock on before coming to a halt in each manoeuvre. Don't cross hands, don't touch the curbs, and keep looking around you. For the emergency stop, be sure the road's clear. Stop quickly, but don't skid, lock the wheels, or stall.
So what exactly will the examiner be looking for before he pronounces you fit to hold a full driving licence? Well, half the candidates who take their driving test fail, so it's seen as a really frightening, sweaty occasion by most of us. But it doesn't have to be that bad if only you know what the examiner is looking for and the questions he's going to put.
Ivan Ellis is a former police instructor and now the RAC's chief examiner of their registered instructors scheme. He's going to put Chris through the test, but with the difference that Chris will be able to talk back to him and find out exactly what he'll be looking for.
So, Ivan, I got to the driving test centre in plenty of time. What's going to happen on my driving test?
You're going to the driving test centre, into the waiting room. You'll sit down and you'll wait for your name to be called. The examiner will come out and he will ask you to sign his form. Then he will possibly ask you, do you suffer from any disability that could impair your ability to drive? He will then take you outside, check your eyesight and the registration mark of a parked vehicle. He will then ask you to lead him to your car. The examiner will look at the front and the rear of the car to make sure that the L plates are properly affixed and such things as the mirrors are properly affixed. Otherwise, he could, at that stage, abandon the test if the interior or exterior mirror on the driver's side were missing.
Right, so we get in the car and from that point on the test has started.
Well, it really started from the time that you met the examiner and the time that you signed his sheet.
What do we need to run through in the car?
Make sure that your doors are closed, first of all. Apply your seatbelt. Make sure that your seat is correct as regards the general control of the car. Check the interior and exterior mirrors, that you've got maximum vision. And to check that your handbrake is on and the gear lever is in neutral before you start the engine. That's the cockpit drill.
So what would the examiner tell me to do from now on?
That we shall move away and he will expect you to follow the road ahead unless signs direct otherwise or unless I ask you to do so, acting as the examiner.
Right, so well, you're Mr. Examiner from this moment on.
OK then. And we shall obviously have to move to the right here, please, as we move away from this position. And then we shall follow the road ahead. At the end of the road, will you please turn right? At the roundabout, follow the road ahead. Take the next road on the right. Pull up on the left at a convenient place. Thank you.
I noticed you made a mark on your pad then as we came round that corner.
Yes, that was because we cut the right-hand turn, and in actual fact we did pass over the hazard lines. That would have been a definite fault.
Would I have failed on that?
No, not in those circumstances.
But it would have been a fault counting against me.
Yes, it would have. It would have been more aggravated had a vehicle have appeared, then it would become a more serious fault. And also when we came to a stop here, we rolled back because we didn't apply the foot brake fully, and we tended to stop the car on the handbrake. Must stop the car on the foot brake, apply the handbrake.
Well, let's go on with the test and see how I get on.
Okay. When you are ready, would you please move off and follow the road ahead?
Made another little note on your pad then?
Yes, because we had a little hesitancy and a minor rollback there. We should have moved off absolutely without a rollback.
So you can't roll back at all?
You should not roll back at all. No, you should just move straight away under control. It demonstrates your control of the vehicle, in particular the use of the clutch and handbrake and accelerator. Pull up on the left at a convenient place. Thank you. This is the move off at an angle, of course, and we are going to, when you are ready, move off, please, and follow the road ahead. At the end of the road, will you please turn right and then immediately left? Pull in at a convenient place before the road on the left. I would like you to go past the junction, stop on the other side please, and reverse into this junction on your left. Keep reasonably close to the curb. Thank you.
So how was that? Did I do anything?
You did that quite well, and I would say that that would be a satisfactory one for the test purposes. The main thing on this, of course, is continual observation that as you are coming back in the road, you look to the front and you look to the right before you make the actual turn, and then you obviously will look back through the rear window in the road that you are entering, and then you come to a stop on the near side, as close to the curb as possible, as you have done in this case. I would like you now to go to the end of the road, please, and turn right. Would you pull up on a safe and convenient place on the near side, please? I would now like you to turn the car around in the opposite direction using the forward and reverse gears. Please try not to touch the curbs.
Made a mark on your paper?
Yes, it was to do with observation. You did not look as you got back on the second part of the turn in reverse over your right shoulder to your right wheel, which would have given you a good guide as regards how close you were getting to the curb. And the other point was you had very little observation here to the left. So once again, observation of tremendous importance when doing the turn in the road. Will you pull into the near side, please? We're safe. We shall now simulate an emergency stop. And for this purpose, I want you to imagine that a little girl runs out in front of you, and I want you to bring the car to a stop safely and under control. To simulate this situation, I shall say, stop. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Move off when you're ready, please. Stop.
That was quite a dramatic stop, but I didn't lock the wheels. Would you have preferred a bit of squeal from the tyres?
No, that was quite all right because you brought it to a stop under control. You don't want to find yourself in the position of sliding, because if you are, you're technically out of control. The main thing is that you react to the situation quickly, bring the vehicle to a stop as quickly as possible, under control.
So you don't want any tyre squeal and locked wheels?
Try to avoid it as much as you can.
Right.
And the other point is, may I suggest that before you move off, that with the adrenaline pumping, as you say, it's quite an experience, you will need to look, I suggest, over both shoulders, because there could have been a motorcyclist or a cyclist come behind you whilst you're stationary in the situation. So do check before you move off that it's safe to do so.
Well, back on our test routine, what now?
Move off, please. Follow the road ahead. Please take the next road on the right.
Done something wrong again?
Yes, as you came to a stop, you knocked it into neutral and then you applied the handbrake.
So what should I have done?
Handbrake on, gear lever in neutral, as it's obvious that with the traffic lights at red, you're going to be here for some little time.
Is that really just sort of examiner speak, or is it important to do it in that sequence?
Oh, it is important to do it in that sequence from the point of view of safety, because if your foot slipped off the clutch, at least the handbrake's going to hold the car in a safe position if you were in gear. We shall come to a mini roundabout around the corner. Will you please take the left fork at the mini roundabout?
What did I do?
Left the trafficator going too long after the turn. Will you please take the next road on the right?
Got another mark on my pad.
Yes, we cut the right-hand corner as we made the turn. We must go forward and then move properly into the junction.
Well, what was that like?
It was not too bad, but there were some faults in it. I feel it would have been enough to pass you, despite the fact that you did indeed cut two right-hand corners. If there had been vehicles coming, though, from out of those junctions, that could have well have changed the whole situation, because the faults would have then become obviously more serious and possibly even dangerous.
Now we've come to a halt back at the driving centre. What's the next part of the inquisition?
Well, I shall have to ask you some questions on the highway code and general motoring matters.
Now that's something obviously we can't learn for people. That's really down to learning the code.
Absolutely. In fact, this is rather a neglected side. If the pupil realised at an early stage that he should study his highway code and indeed his booklet, How to Pass Your Driving Test, then he would have a good knowledge of the rules of the road, because the objective surely must be is that if you know the rules of the road, you can give a good drive and you will know exactly what the situations are ahead of you.
Ivan, thanks very much indeed.
My pleasure indeed.
Don't forget that in a real test, you won't be able to talk back to the examiner. Department of Transport figures reveal that 20% of test candidates make serious errors in the first minute of the test as they prepare to move off. Try to relax and collect your thoughts when you first get into the car. If you're too nervous, you may forget parts of that vital cockpit check. Other common failure points are lack of observation at crossroads and junctions, poor use of mirrors, not making sufficiently quick progress, reversing into a gap, poor signalling. So, pay extra attention to these procedures in your driving practice. Assuming you passed the test, what lies ahead? Hopefully, a lifetime of safe driving. The first thing you will notice is that empty space beside you, where someone used to sit, ready to take control if things went wrong. Don't forget your safety checks. They should be second nature. You haven't just learnt them to pass the test. No L plates now. You're just a driver, like anyone else. Lots of observation. Always be patient, don't take risks. Remember all you have learnt. Don't slip into sloppy driving habits. Don't just drive, learn to anticipate and read the road ahead. Don't ever find yourself surprised by other drivers' poor roadcraft or bad behaviour on the roads. While you've got a piece of paper that says you're a qualified driver, you've still got a lot to learn. you've done no motorway driving or any driving at speed over long distances, little night or bad weather driving, and you've had no training in how to handle a skid.
With me is Ted Clements, Chief Examiner of the Institute of Advanced Motorists. Ted, a very fast motor car for us. What are you going to show us?
Well, let's get out on the motorway and I'll show you a little bit of advanced driving.
So, Ted, coming out onto the roundabout at the bottom of the slip road to the motorway, and of course every beginner's nightmare, first time on the motorway.
Well, that's it. It's an intimidating experience for the first time to go on a motorway, but nevertheless, after a little while, you soon get acclimatized to that style of driving and you pattern in with the rest of the traffic, bearing in mind that motorways are still our safest road.
Now, coming up to the actual slip lane into the motorway, any hints on joining the motorway?
Yes, the object of the acceleration lane is to familiarize yourself with to the flow of traffic, get up to a reasonable speed, and join the motorway in the left-hand lane. Mirror, nothing behind that would appreciate any signal, so we can pull out into the left-hand lane.
Now, the whole point there is that we're accelerating onto the motorway.
Gentle acceleration into the inside lane.
Now, I notice you talk about the inside and the centre lane. You're not talking about the slow and middle and fast lane.
No, there are no slow or fast lanes. They're the left-hand lane, the centre lane, and the outside lane.
And which ones do you drive in?
Well, the left-hand one as far as possible, but if there's a lot of congestion, a lot of heavy traffic, come out into the centre lane, but get back into the near side as quickly as possible. But bearing in mind that the right-hand lane is, of course, strictly for overtaking only.
Now, what's the right sort of length to leave?
Well, if we remember, a good guideline is the 2-second rule. It's as the vehicle in front goes past a marker post or bridge or something like that, you say in your mind, only a fool breaks the 2-second rule. And you've got up to that marker post before you've said this expression, well, you're far too close.
And leaving the motorway?
Yes, we're going to leave the motorway at this particular junction, so we indicate at the 300 marker post. It's a good guideline. You are going fairly fast, and it warns the people behind.
Coming off onto the deceleration lane, obviously you've got to lose a lot of speed.
Yes, you decelerate here and familiarize yourself with the normal road conditions, because we are now off the motorway and we're coming to a roundabout ahead which we're going to turn right.
So we stay on the right side of the slip road?
That's right. Keep on the right-hand side, and we're going to turn right at this particular junction. There's the sign there saying the end of motorway regulations.
Driving at night shouldn't create problems if you keep your speed down. Drive within the scope of your headlights. Pay attention to observation. Keep those windows clean and clear. Watch the rear lights of cars further ahead, not just those directly in front of you, and that will give you more time to react. If oncoming lights dazzle, don't look into them. Concentrate on the near side and your own dipped beam. Your lights will, of course, be clean and well set. Avoid fatigue. Don't drive for too long. Take a break every now and again.
In autumn, you need to take special care. Wet leaves and greasy surfaces can easily catch you out. Too much speed is the root cause of skidding. In this case, the driver has applied too much power, and the back of the car breaks away in the turn. If the driver steers more smoothly, eases the power as he feels the rear wheels lose adhesion, and steers into the slide, the problem is removed. On winter roads, the golden rule is to take it easy. Treat the throttle, and especially the brake pedal, with great respect. Drive smoothly, no harsh acceleration or sudden braking. Plan ahead, leave lots of space in front of you. On snow or ice, if you feel the car start to slide, don't panic. Ease off the throttle if too much power is making the wheels spin, or feather off the brake pedal if you feel the front wheels locking and the steering going light. Again, plan ahead so that you arrive at junctions or corners in the right gear at the right speed, and skidding should never trouble you.
All that now remains is for us to wish you luck in your driving test and hope you'll be able to throw away your L plates. And remember, if you do pass, it's only the start of your motoring career. There's still an awful lot to learn.